Okay, we're going to just do a couple. Just stand up, stand down twice. That's it. And then we'll start. Come on. Up. Stretch out those arms as well. Come on. Loosen up a bit. Side to side, down, back. That's it. Get above these. Alright, down, sit down. Get off. Quiet. So, everyone see the cursor here? Okay, that's what I was worried about. Because I want to get through this fairly quickly because I know the time constraints as usual. Because I only got 20 minutes for this, but anyway, we'll see how we go. So, what are we doing when we talk to our members before we do home visits? So firstly, the first thing I do is obviously the background work. Is it worth me doing a home visit? And obviously you've got, what I generally try and do is make sure we have an FCF at least. So I've done some background work behind that. Now, I'll go through some of the processes I'm going to talk about with this as well. But the most important thing is we want to get them further down the track. That's our major goal. Alright, so let's go. So our first thing, and I do this in order, so you can write this down, and I'm happy for you to discuss this a little bit later too. So this is how I present this in order when I'm talking to a member. Okay? So you can take from whatever you like. So can you afford to try? This is in the Google Drive. Who doesn't know where this is? Hands up. Okay, talk to your branch manager. Alright? So that you should know where this is. Now, one of the things that I say with this, obviously, this is a projection of 40 years ago, 2020, now. Now, the reason why I've left this one here at 2013 is the now in the third column over is 2013. Now, the reason why I leave that there is because the, let me just explain this a little bit further. Who has not seen this, I suppose? There's only a couple. So most people have seen this. What I focus on a little bit more is the dwelling figures here, alright? So what's 1973, median house prices over the 5 capital cities. So starting with Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide and Perth, 18,000. Yeah. What would you, so my first question straight away is, what would you have done back in 1973?
What benefit?
Bought more properties.
Wasn't even born, mate.
So we go further ahead. So this is inflation. At the end of this 20-year period, we had something like 70% interest rates. We had high inflation, around about 12-13% as well. So that's what we had at what we call an 8-year, or 8 times doubling here. Or it doubled 8 times, sorry. It's from 18k to 141k. Remember, 5 major capital cities. So I'm going through this with my member. Then I'm going to 2013, okay, 550. You see where I'm going with this? Guess what it is today in 2017? It's actually about 675. The reason for that is we know Melbourne and Sydney have gone ballistic, which are still going ballistic. So what I want to show to them there, just in the last 3 or 4 years, that 550 figure is now at 675. Alright, so you made another point there yet again. Then do you think, what I then say to my members is, do you think it might be up to 2.2 mil by 2033? And most 90% of my members say yes, because they can see where this is heading and where it's been. Alright, so you can see how powerful this tool is. It's just giving them a history lesson. In other words, getting them to understand why they're investing in property as an addition. So here's the facts and figures. Obviously the average wage, food costs, rent, basic cost of living, etc. are also very important as well. But the median house prices are the key for this. Ask me questions if you like, but I don't think we've got time for questions. So let's go to the next one. But next one, I've already got their FCF. So I've worked out their, put their taxable income in here, working for the ATO. This is from the toolbox, right? Should be able to know, should have this. So I put in their income. Okay, I know what their age is because they've already put in their age from their finance form. Okay, and you know, you have to work to your 70 to get a decent retirement. So, guess what I'm saying to them next? How much tax are you going to pay over the next, in this case here, 30 years? Really, 600 plus thousand. And I'm saying to you, that's the next thing I'm saying to them, do you want that just going down the drain or going out the window, or do you want to put it to better use? So the next point I'm saying here is, then we look down at how many months you're going to work for the ATO. before you actually get any income. 2.8 months. Do you know how much tax you're paying per year? 21,000 in this case, at 90,000 income. So you can see where you're just, most people you ask how much tax they're paying, they've got no idea. So you've got to think, what does this person know? They probably don't know too much, but this gives them a little bit more insight. It puts you in a better position of them listening to what you're saying. So this is number 2. Can you see how this is starting to get them thinking along the lines of, I might want to do something here instead of having all this tax go out the window. Obviously then we go to their benefits and talk about some of that. I only try and focus on 1 or 2 of these here because there's quite a lot in the benefits page here. I mostly talk about the leasing as a situation where, if you've got properties, you can get the club leasing department working on that as well. There's processes involved with that as well. But there's more, don't have enough time. I generally take 1.5 to 2 hours maximum, but I cannot do this presentation with members in under an hour. You just don't have enough time. So I try and focus on 1 or 2 of those benefits. Again, entirely up to you which ones you're most comfortable with. Alright, everyone writing this down? Norm?
It's an old one, it's an old document you got.
I know it's an old document, I didn't have time.
It's an up-to-date one. More up-to-date.
I know. Okay, have you got this one? 10 good reasons. This backs up the club benefits. Alright? 10 good reasons. Now this is under something different. It's not under 10 good reasons. I think it's under something else. But I'll tell you what it is later because I just cannot remember what it was. But anyway, you can find on the Google Drive. But that's very important again. It's more another reason for them to do something with the club. So you've got all this information here. Just again, focus on 1 or 2 of these as well. You don't want to. You want to focus initially on those first 2 with the tax and the prices, and now we're going with the benefits with the club. Then what we have is I've got the old Investors Club form. You might probably remember these Investors Club form and the 7 steps to wealth. I've actually kept the old form, but this is the 7 steps that we have. But I've got another old form that actually. Does anyone remember that old form? Because each of these 7 steps, go to webinars, learn a bit more about your club itself, come to introductory meetings, come to introductory webinars, property club webinars, etc., etc., etc. So learning, do your borrowing capacity, have a long-term plan. So what I say to them then, I'm going to show you your plan tonight, and you're going to come back to me with your questions. Do you want me to adjust it, etc. So I'm going to show you that plan. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Know your cash flow. You need to know what this property is going to cost you or going to give you in return. What's it going to save me in tax, etc. Then we talk about accumulation. How many properties do I need in retirement? We talk about our PMC club, and then how do we get to our harvesting stage and retiring? So we're trying to put these are the steps. So I try and briefly go through that, but we have a little bit more information to go with that as well. I then also give them a top 10 traps, right? So we're trying to, one of the things I say to at this point is, I'm not just trying to sell you a property here, I'm trying to get you a portfolio of properties to get you to a better retirement. Unfortunately, there's 9 out of 10, this is a good statistic and you can quote me on this because this is a really good statistic. 90% of investors get it wrong. The reason why they get it wrong because there's too many traps out there, and this is what this property club 10 traps. This is only 10. There's lots more, but there's 90% of investors get it wrong, and that's why we're here sitting in front of the members at the moment. Obviously, we know the cap. Very good tool in terms of showing them how we calculate the property. In terms of what our net position is, total outgoings, etc., net rent, tax advantage, etc. But I tend to focus a little bit more on that capital growth, that last column there. Okay, so that's what, and this is a weekly outcomes as well. So it's firstly trying to get them to understand we've got all the answers. Then we go to a FIDO. So it depends on what sort of person we're talking to. Most of my members are Sydney members. So they've got quite a bit of equity at the moment. So what we try and put into the FIDO is their situation, and I say to my Sydney members, you only really need to buy 2, maybe 3 other investment properties, but you need to have a strategy of buying not just in Sydney, but also in other capital cities. So you need to have, what I say, 3 different growth areas, whether it's Brisbane, whether it's Gold Coast, whether it's Darwin, Perth, whatever it is at the time. I talk a little bit about the property clock at that stage, depending on where we are with those property clocks. So something that if you're not sure about the property clock, you need to know that property clock and be able to explain that to them. So again, it talks about, and I only want to highlight a couple of things here with this page 2. So this is your setting their dates. So in this case here, what I try and highlight is the LVR position, which is what that position will be in, say, in 10 years' time, and also their equity increase. And I'll use the scenario here of one apple withdrawing down, and it's increasing by 3. Right, 300,000 as opposed to drawing down 100,000. Even though you're drawing down 100,000, it's still growing by 3. So it's not cutting the tree down, you're just harvesting some of those apples. Then I look at the sort of, this is the bottom part of that page, I try and focus a little bit more on, well, if we had a graph like this going up like this through the 60% line here, then I'd say to them, well, we need some more properties, or we need some more time. So again, it's very important that you've got your head around that. And sometimes what I do also is I'll do 1 or 2 of the FIDOs to show them those different possible scenarios. And I'll have them printed out in front of them. So then they see how these numbers actually flow through if they go through that actual process. So it's about giving them the information and then discussing it with them. So another thing, then what I do, after having spoken to members, would you be interested in Queensland? Would you be interested in Melbourne? Where do you think you want to do? Where do you think you want to invest? So in this case, I have what we call our why charts. Why Darwin, why Canberra, why Sydney, why Melbourne, all these ones here. And this is just an adjunct to our normal properties as well. So this is very important to have this as an extra when you're looking at profiles. And of course, hang on.
Is that in Google Drive?
No, it's not in Google Drive. But there are some of the why ones that still being updated. Some of them are.
So research have some in Google Drive.
Yeah.
So that's one you've designed yourself.
Yeah. Well, I've sort of used a lot of those figures from other sources as well. But so obviously the next thing is you've gone there and said, you want to look at units, you want to look at townhouses, you want to look at house and land, etc. You've got a pretty good idea of what they're comfortable with. But one of the other education points that you're going to talk to them about is, if you bought a unit as opposed to a townhouse, you've got to come up with those answers to go with that as well. So it's about them, yes, selecting the property, but then also you having that knowledge by coming on the bus tours, knowing the properties that we have on the stock list as well, so that you do have all those, or most of those answers. And don't be afraid to say, no, I don't really know. I will get back to you and give you that answer. It's about giving them that truthful, if you like, reply, and not stumbling around with the wrong answer. So it's very important that you're totally honest with your members and you make sure that they're coming back to you with those answers. Now obviously the last bit is, even if the member doesn't decide to buy a property, I always ask them, look, this is our next step. If you wanted to sort of move forward a little bit, is have an expression of interest done and have that uploaded in the system. And I say to them, I'm not going to obviously put an expression of interest in for you unless you sent me that email, but this is just helps us to get the process sort of started a little bit further down the track. Now there's a few other bits and pieces I haven't mentioned in here, which is a lot of members have a little bit of strife with on how they set up line of credits and how they finance, how does that work, how do I get my equity out, etc. like that. What I try and do is I'll write on the back of those sheets there, just my little calculator, depending on And I usually use a number like 400,000 property, and then I'll put down what we call our funds to complete scenario as well, which basically means about 15% of that 400,000. Now you can write these numbers down if you like, but just as an example, so 400,000 as a property, you're going to put down a 10% deposit, and then 5% will be stamp duty and legal fees on top of that. So 400,000, 90% lend is 360,000, 436. Then you're going to put down 10% of 400,000 is 40,000, which is your deposit, and that 5% is your stamp duty and legals. So in actual fact, that's 20%. Am I going too fast, Harbour?
No, in fact, today, if you ask brokers who are sitting here,
Yep.
they'll say it's not 15%, it's at least 17%.
Yeah, well, I'm just, that'll be up to the brokers. I don't know if they're not there. I'm just telling you what I'm doing at the moment. But you're right, that might have changed. But I don't think, what I'm trying to get at is I try to make it as simple as that by just writing those numbers down. So 400,000, 90% 360 lend, 10% deposit and 5% deposit. I put a bracket around, and then that is your funds to complete figure, which is basically 400,000 is about 60,000 of funds to complete. Okay, you with me so far? Yep. So that's their line of credit, or what we set up as a regional as well. So that's just a lot of members I've had. I often talk to them about that. It's just giving them that basic information. That's what's going to happen. But your broker will tell you exactly where that's going to go in terms of actual numbers. But that just gives them a rough idea of how that's going to go. So the last point is, and I think we're just about running out of time, is just making sure you're getting that expression of interest signed and just uploaded in the system. So that's just my sort of way of doing things. I can't stress enough how well you know the stock list. I myself and my team, we tend to focus on probably 3, 4, maybe 5 different projects, but we specialise in those projects as well. It makes it a lot easier, but also makes it a lot simpler to know so much more about it as well. So, does that help a little bit or not? Yes?
Yeah.
Where do you put in the topic of filling out an FWC into all of this?
I try and do, if I know they're going to put in an FWC to get a home visit, if they do send it to me, yes, but if I know they're pretty serious and I've had at least 2 or 3 conversations with them and they'll either hand it to me or they'll email it to me, then I'm prepared to do the home visit. But yeah, the idea of having that done is just getting a little bit of a commitment from them so that you're not sort of wasting your time. Remember, your time is just as valuable as the members, but you want to be also get that contact with them as well.
So you go into this meeting with that already done?
Pretty much, because you can't do your FIDO, and the thing about that, trying to do that, is to make sure that your FIDO is done with that meeting. So when they see their planner, and I call it the planner, in front of them, and they've done the finance form, I can tell them their borrowing capacity, and I can also tell them what their funds to complete might be, and also, as a rough guide, what their plan might be, and make those adjustments accordingly as well. All right? Any other questions? One more question.
Just one thing I often point out at meetings and things with people is when they're concerned about, well, will property double in that time? Will it double in what time? I can't believe that, they might say. When you look at that cash flow bar graph, you can say, well, you know, your black column, you know, you're estimating at this stage that it's going to be $800 a week, and it's going to cost you $10 a week. What if it took twice as long? Right, then it's going to give you only $400. What if it cost you twice as much? It's going to be $20 a week. Is it still a good investment?
Yeah.
Righto, let's halve it again. $200 a week income for a $40 investment. Is it still a good investment? Of course it is.
You know, that's a good point too, because if you're not in the game, you're not going to get anywhere. So that's the whole point of investing, because if you do nothing, you get nothing. So let's finish on that, I suppose. Thank you.